Hey, guess what? I got another Kung Fu movie to review. So, before I get started, my last Kung Fu movie review was Snake and the Eagle Shadow. And by the time I was done editing the video, it's 40 minutes long, or close to 40 minutes. I was like, whoa, I didn't know it took so long to review this movie. So this one, I'm going to try to make it at least 10 minutes. Maybe 20 minutes max. So the Kung Fu movie I'm going to be reviewing today is called Twin Warriors, or Tai Chi Master. It's got two titles, it's weird. I get confused. I just call it Twin Warriors. I just think it's better. Starring the one and only Jet Li. Yes, this is probably one of my favorite Jet Li movies. It's great. I like it. The story's great. The martial art choreography is amazing. Gravity in this movie is a little weird, but you know, I'm gonna just let that slide. Oh, and Michelle Yeoh, or Yeoh, yeah, I don't know how to say her name, but she's in this movie. And for those of you who don't know who she is, she's in a lot of martial art movies, such as Super Cop, the famous one, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You people should at least heard of that. That's like a really big martial art movie. Okay, without any further ado, let's get this started. Okay, Golden Harvest logo. Getting ready to show the movie logo, like always. Alright, we got the movie title card. It's Twin Warriors. Again, it's got another title, Tai Chi Master, but again, I call it Twin Warriors. I just think it's better. Alright, so we start off in a Shaolin temple, and we get to meet the two main characters. So the little one is Junbo, and the older one is Shinbo. Interesting names. So Shinbo and Junbo, throughout the time in the Shaolin temple, they start becoming friends. And they notice a bunch of Shaolin monks practicing Kung Fu. And they want to learn Kung Fu as well. But, you know, they get discouraged by a bully and... yeah, you know how it goes. So Junbo and Shinbo just start cleaning in the temple one day with some brooms and stuff. And they were just playing their brooms, playing martial arts. And we get a time lapse to them when they're growing up, and what are they doing? Whatever they're doing, it's fast. Like that choreography, I can't keep up. Okay, have you ever had an intense footsie under a table before? Like a really intense one? Well, I'm just gonna say this now, it's probably not as intense as Junbo's and Shinbo's. Okay. So one day, the Shaolin monks decided to have a Kung Fu tournament in the Shaolin temple. And Shinbo decides to fight his bully, even his childhood bully ever since the flashbacks, you know, beginning of the movie. So yeah, he was going against him. But of course, the bully had to pull a dick move and use some type of powder to blind Shinbo. And good news, Shinbo won still. But Shinbo kind of, how do you put this, injured his fellow Shaolin monk companion, like really injured him, like he was starting to bleed, and the elder Shaolin monk got really pissed and wanted to beat the shit out of Shinbo, basically. So the elder Shaolin monk fights Shinbo, and Shinbo pulls out a surprise move on the elder monk and kind of surprises him. And that's when the elder monk decides to get all the monks in the same room to fight Shinbo and Junbo, because Junbo tried to stop the elder monk, and I guess now he's part of... I don't know. And here's where gravity starts to get a little weird. Yeah, be expecting that for the rest of the movie. So... the Shaolin monks bring out their staffs and start showing off, and they use their staffs to bend and shoot at Shinbo and Junbo. It's really weird. I don't know. I love this movie, but there's a lot of like weird moments like that. So they're shooting these staffs at Junbo and Shinbo, and it looks like it hurts. But eventually, both of them start to counter them, and then they eventually fight all the monks in this Shaolin temple. And I must say, they're doing a pretty good job. Naruto for crying out loud. So while fighting the whole Shaolin Temple, Junbo's and Shinbo's master comes in and rescues him. And eventually he leads them to talking to them and tells them that he can't be his master anymore and they have to run away. Which they do, because that was a really big offense to the Shaolin Temple. But before Jinbo and Shinbo start to leave the Shaolin Temple, their teacher gives them a scroll about Qi. Interesting, right? So Junbo and Shinbo are finally out of the Shaolin Temple, and now they're out in the real world. And they discover there's some pretty bad people around, and especially this army of soldiers who are just plain out bad guys. So with this whole evil army people kind of just running things around here, Junbo and Shinbo finally meet a band of rebels. And joining with these band of rebels, they get a lot of trouble, a lot. Not just with the army, but with random women. And the whole reason behind that, this girl fight, I guess you could say. Michelle Yeoh, playing the, this long-necked lute here, actually mentioned to Junbo and Shinbo that she's looking for her husband. And which she does, but with another woman. So yeah, that's what led up to this fight. So with Junbo and Shinbo hanging around the rebels for a while, it seems like they're doing pretty good. But later throughout the movie, Shinbo was thinking to himself, what if he happened to join the military? Unlike Junbo, he decides to stay with the rebels instead of join the military. Because, I don't know, he likes Michelle Yeoh. And with Shinbo in the military, he does anything he can to get up high in the ranks, which is not a bad idea, but, you'll see. With Shinbo gone, Junbo is stuck with the rebels, which is not a bad thing, because, the rebels are the good guys in this movie. And the evil military stop by the rebels' base, get Star Wars out of your head right now, and they start harassing them, bullying them, which leads up to a fight. Okay, I'm just gonna point this out real quick. There's a move that Junbo does that's I don't know, you just have to look at it. Like, what is that? Do Shaolin monks do that? Like, how is that possible? Like, again, the gravity in this movie just does not make sense. So after all this fighting, one of the members of the military escape. And they go to Shinbo, who was guarding a post leading to the military base. But thanks to Shinbo, he kills him. And yeah, problem solved for the rebels. After that, Shinbo offers to help the rebels to sneak into his base, or this military base, and take out the leader. Shinbo leads the rebels to the base, but something doesn't feel quite right.
It was a trap the whole time.
If you're still watching at this point, you're probably like, what? Why did Shinbo betray Junbo? Well, the first time I watched this, I was just as confused as you were. But, Shinbo wants power. He even said that when he was back at the Shaolin Temple. So this fight lasts for a while until the rebels escape, barely. And they even have anyone, because most of them were killed in that battle. And Michelle Yeoh was also captured in battle. Not killed, but captured. And another woman from the rebels was also captured besides Michelle Yeoh. It's actually Shinbo's crush when he first joined the rebels. So due to Shinbo's actions, he got a promotion because he betrayed the rebels and Junbo. And that's what pleased his boss, this old emperor guy. And later that night, Shinbo tries to get, do some dirty stuff with that girl he captured from the rebels. How does it turn out? Not so well, because she tries to kill him, But his boss kind of walks in like, what is going on? And tells Shinbo that women are kind of distractions to the pathway of power. So what does Shinbo do? He kills her. So, yeah. Don't let women distract you from getting power, I guess. At least from this old guy's point of view. Later on, Shinbo's boss, or that old guy, tells Shinbo to try to convince Junbo to join the military because he noticed in that fight that he was a very good martial artist and he wants him to join the military as well. Which Shinbo tries to do by using Michelle Yeoh as a hostage, but Junbo comes by and declines the offer, and Shinbo and Junbo fight. And I don't know if it's just me, but like I'm getting like Naruto and Sasuke vibes here. So this fight that's going on right now, this is like a legit anime fight. Like, I mean, look at this. So after this big anime fight, Junbo rescues Michelle Yeoh. And they escape. But due to the fight, Junbo, I guess you could say he's in shock, or something like that. He's not fully there. Like, there's a loose screw in his head, at least for right now. And throughout the movie, you get to see Junbo and how he's not mentally there. Until later on, he starts to realize about life, or just life, or something like that. And remember that that scroll that Junbo and Chinbo's master gave to them before they left the Shaolin Temple? Well, that's in the hands of Junbo right now, and he's using it to good use because he's finally reading it. And since Junbo is learning the scroll of Qi, he eventually learns the martial art Tai Chi. And with Chinbo, what he's doing, he's slaughtering rebels and getting their goods, which pleases his boss. So I mean, I guess that's a good thing for him. And then one day, Chinbo's boss, that old emperor dude, goes out to meet the emperor, which is an honor. But when he comes back, he gets attacked by rebels, which is Junbo and Michelle Yeoh. They start fighting this Chinbo's boss, or that old guy, and I gotta say, for an old guy, he's got some moves. I'm just gonna say that now. What in the world is Junbo doing? So they eventually capture the old emperor dude. I mean, it was an intense fight, but it was pretty fast, so it's kind of an easy win. So they go back to the military base and use him as bait in order to get Chinbo to come out, which he does. And finally, Chinbo and Junbo finally meet face to face once again. And you know what that means? Another anime fight. Okay. I just want to point this out. So, during this fight with Chinbo and Junbo, Chinbo uses his own men as weapons. Yes, he like, throws them at Junbo. It's hilarious. I can't get over it. Throughout this fight, Junbo uses his Tai Chi against Chinbo, and Chinbo starts to lose. And because of that, he orders his men to attack Junbo. But Chinbo's boss is like, no, don't do it. And then Chinbo's like, do it. And they kind of had an argument. And because of that, Chinbo kills his boss. Like, yeah. Like, Chinbo is corrupted. Like, big time. So after Chinbo kills his boss, he orders his men to kill Junbo. But his men start thinking that Chinbo is some type of nutcase. So they start chanting him to die. And let Junbo just kill him. Like, yeah, like, their men just don't give a shit about Chinbo anymore. Junbo kicks Chinbo's ass a few moments longer until Chinbo's on the ground begging for mercy. Begging for them to be friends again. Just like the old times. And that kind of got Jumbo thinking. Until he pulled out some rug and covered Jumbo, and then got spears out of nowhere and stabs him, and laughs his ass off. So the tables have been turned because Jumbo pops out of the rug and somehow caught all the spears that Chimbo threw at him, and then he just starts kicking Chimbo just all over the place until he just lands on his own men's spears. That's a interesting way to die. And after that, and the whole military working for that old emperor dude, all the men in the military put their spears down and lead a pathway for Jumbo and Michelle Yeoh. And after that, Jumbo goes back to the Shaolin Temple and teaches his Tai Chi. And, well, that was the whole movie. It's one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite Jet Li movies. Again, the gravity in this movie is nuts, but that's why I like it, because it's so weird and so intense, and it's just old school. I like it. And again, like I did with Snake and the Eagle Shadow review, I want to hear someone's point of view who hasn't watched much Kung Fu movies. So, yeah, and I know the person. So, Keishan, I'm assuming you watched Twin Warriors, or Tai Chi Master. This is the second name of it. What'd you think?
That's the best live-action anime I think I've ever seen.
Does it really remind you of an anime?
It does, like everything from the gravity to the special effects.
The gravity, that was what
to
I
the
was
random
meaning to ask
powder
you.
that everything is coated in. Like, I want to say there was a part where he just like jumps on a table and it just snaps in half. Like,
yeah, a lot of like the Michelle Yeoh, the lady with the little guitar versus the other lady.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was they used a lot of tables for that scene.
Yeah, one thing I love about the Kung Fu, like, I guess, universe, because it all feels like one big anime. You never know who actually is going to get into a fight. Like, you never.
It just kind of happens.
Like, there's these two women fighting, and I thought, okay, well, they're probably going to be important, but I don't think they know Kung Fu awesome. They just going at it. And the villain in this movie, how he uses his own henchmen as weapons. Yeah, he started getting beating, like, his weapons weren't working, so he's like, screw it, I'll just use actual bodies, and just start throwing.
Okay, that part cracked me up. I mean, I love this movie, but, like, this movie just, it's got its moments.
Those guys were so loyal, they didn't even flinch, like, when their comrades were just thrown. They all just kept standing there.
I was just assuming they're just scared.
The fight scenes overall, but it's just sometimes it got a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, like what's one scene where Jimbo, the young guy, the Tai Chi Master,
mm-hmm.
how he used his headbutt, how gravity somehow lifted him up magically from one body to another. Do you remember that scene?
Wait a minute. Wasn't there a part where he just straight up became a Mii brawler and just dived headfirst into somebody?
Yeah. yeah. Yep, that was the scene. So, last question. What do you give this movie? Like a scale to 1 to 10?
Honestly, I'm gonna give this one an 8. Like,
an 8? So, when you told me from Snake and the Eagle Shadow, that was a 7, correct?
Yeah, and the issues I had with that one were the dubbing was awful, the soundtrack was awful. But honestly, the soundtrack in this one was, I think, a vast improvement. It's not really what I'm into, but it definitely fit more.
Instead of weird sounds
and
in music.
The dubbing in this one wasn't that great, but you can tell they tried really hard to make it look like that's what they were saying.
Yeah, I will say the dubbing in this movie was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was a lot better than most of what I've seen.
And alright, that is it for this review. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more Kung Fu movies for me to review, just put some down in the comments. I'll take a look at them. Make sure they're something to do with martial arts. If you're going to make me review Twilight, that's going to be a no-go. So yeah, like, subscribe, do whatever you want.